Yo, boys, on this podcast, we're going to be me and Colton chopping it up about business, story, and mindset, bro. So, first off, Colton, obviously we both came from the same, we're in the bottom, we're in the trenches, bro. Went from 0 to 50K a month, both of us, in 6 months, really tell our guys, about our story and how quickly you were able to come up and how was it for you, bro?
Yeah, bro. So usually when I talk about my story, I like to go back into even before, we even got into like online coaching and going in this space. So with me, all of 2024, was just comfortable. Working a job that I hated, I was stuck in college, going through the norm. My parents would always tell me, just go to college, after you graduate, figure it out. But at the end of the day, I realized that path wasn't for me. My GPA was like a 1.5. I was failing. Everyone was always making fun of me, telling me you're going to be a failure. I realized, like, this route isn't for me. So I had to understand that me being in that comfortable space isn't going to get me anywhere. So the first thing I did, before I even got into the business in the first place, before I even got a mentor and learned from everyone that I needed to learn from, I dropped out and I quit my job. So now I have no future. My back's against the wall. And now I'm forced to pursue and go all in what I needed to do. And that's when I got into online coaching. And since I got rid of all the safety nets that I had to make it work. I had to make money. I invested my last dollar into Vince, my mentor. And just that pressure and that fire and that urgency was what allowed me to move so fast and get me to where I am today. Yeah, the information is great, all the technicals, but if it wasn't for that urgency and the fact that I needed to actually change my life, I would not have been here. You know what I mean? Everyone can have all the information. Everyone can have all the sauce and everything they need to make money online. But if they don't have the urgency or that fire under their ass to make things happen, nothing's going to change. That's what I had. I woke up every single morning early. And when I was waking up early, I actually realized what my parents would go through. You know what I mean? I would see them actually wake up, and I actually realized, I actually woke up. This whole time I was in college, fucking around. I was a fucking kid. My parents would wake up every single morning, go to work to a job they don't like, and I'm just messing around in college, trying to have fun, messing around with these guys. I'm a damn near a kid, bro. I'm 21 years old, and I'm in school, messing around with these guys that have nothing going for them. I didn't even realize that until I actually put my back against the wall and I actually saw the real world for what it is. That fire under my ass is what let me move to where I am right now.
100%, bro. It was the same for me. People need to understand that, you have to realize as a man, you can't continue seeing your mom. For me, it was like my mom was breaking her back, literally broke her back 3 places, slaving away at a job she hated simply just to pay the bills. And I didn't understand when I was a kid, she'd be like, I'll turn off the lights and turn off the sink and this and that. And even now, bro, 50K a month, my girlfriend leaves the sink. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Turn that shit off. She's like, babe, you made $10,000. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Turn that shit off. Because it's instilled in my head. I came from a low point and, even growing up, bro, my mom and my dad had an ugly divorce. It was up to me to become the man of the family, right? It was always up to me. You know what I mean? And what I realized in those moments is your why is the main thing. You know what I mean? When I was broke and I was there and I was comfortable because I was used to it. I was used to my mom paying all the bills, providing for the household. Until I realized, man, as a man, I don't give a fuck how old you are. As long as you're over 18, bro, even if you're in high school, it is your duty, once you become 18, to take care of your mother. She raised you for 18 years, not for you to just leave the sink on, right? Leave the lights on. No. You need to provide for the household, right? You need to be the family man, and that's what I learned. And those values are instilled deeply into my roots, man. I understood that. When my mom broke her back and she was in the hospital, right? I'll be real, most guys would have crumbled. Most guys, 18 years old, had to cover all the bills in the house, right? And I always lacked self-love, so I had the cool car already. I already had the CA, even though I didn't have money, you know what I mean? But then I had to pay all the bills in the house. It was up to me. I put in the work, bro. Put my head down, and I always, growing up, man, I had a lot of people in my family just hate on me, bro. Oh, Andy has dreams of a millionaire. Oh, Andy spends all his money on the car. You know what? At the time, they were right. But now, no cocky shit. I make their salary, their monthly, 3x in a day. So it doesn't really matter, because what you need to understand is, regardless, people are always going to chirp and talk. It's about how you respond to it. If you just crumble up into a ball and don't do anything about it, you're going to stay where you are. You're going to stay stuck. But if you use it as fuel, I never let these people affect me. I never get mad in front of them. What I did was, I remember it was in January, bro. My mom's in the hospital, broken back. The time my brother was struggling, man. He was struggling. I'm not going to get into details, but alcohol. It was several problems my brother was struggling with, and they would talk about him, man. Your brother, man, he's doing drugs, he's drinking, he's an alcoholic, all these things. They talk about him, and You know, he wouldn't say much about it, but I always said, you know, I'm gonna make him rich. I'm gonna respond for that, or at least I'm gonna get rich, and I'm not gonna be here standing for it, man. So I remember the day exactly. They were talking about my brother. They were talking about me, that he has dreams of a millionaire. And in that moment, I realized I'm never gonna let anyone disrespect me, my mom, or my brother ever again. I put my head down, you know. And that was New Year's. That happened New Year's, 2 days later. Most people say, oh, you know, my mom almost died. Why is this happening to me? What's going on? I said, what is this trying to teach me? My mom almost died, bro. I remember the exact moment I called the ambulance. She's screaming in pain. I don't know what's going on. I wake up. She's screaming. I call the ambulance. You know, they come. She's screaming. She can barely speak. She's almost paralyzed. And they're telling me, hey, you know, let's put her in the ambulance. My mom, on her last breath, she could barely speak. She's about to pass out from the pain. She's telling me to not put her in the ambulance because she can't afford it. She can't afford the ambulance. Oh, it's like $1,000. People are telling her, you can go on a payment plan and pay $40 a month. She's like, no, we're that broke, paycheck to paycheck. In that moment, I realized I'm never going to let this happen again. I'm never going to let money be an object. I had to wait 30 minutes for my brother, who at the time was struggling with alcohol, to come all the way from where he lived to come here, pick up my mom, put her in the back of his car. You know, it was tight. She was in pain. I didn't know my mom was going to die. I didn't know what was going to happen. And that moment, we got her to the hospital. And they told me, hey, listen, man, your mom might die or she might get paralyzed. Imagine hearing that at 18 years old, right? And I knew I had to cover all the bills, right? So you know what I did, man? I didn't use it as an excuse. I said, what is this trying to teach me? It was trying to teach me that at a young age, the only person who can take care of yourself is you. No one's going to come save you. So what I did was I put my back against the wall, same as you. I invested, you know, with Vincent and other mentors. And man, my first 3 months, I struggled, but I put the work in. 3 months later, 12K a month. 6 months later, you know, 40, 50K a month. And the main thing I'll say to anyone watching this is, no matter what you're going through right now, if you have people in your life hating on you, dogging you, talking about you, take it personal, man. I have notes, literally on my notes. Every single thing with quotations of everyone who doubted me. And I used to read that shit every morning and cry. But what I've learned is that may be the man I am today, and that's why I'm so successful, because while people hated on me, I took it personal and I put the work in. Now, Colton, I want to ask you, you know, for you, how many, did people say anything about you, man? Like, you know, in college, like, oh, this guy, you know, bad GPA, he's not going to make it anywhere. Like, how was that for you, bro?
Yeah, all the time in college, people would be like, oh, this little TikTok kid, he's not going to go anywhere. He's already failing his classes because he's trying to get his little social media thing off the ground. And, you know, I always ignored the hate because at the end of the day, I always realized that hate never comes from above. These guys trying to make fun of my GPA, trying to make fun of my content creation, all this shit. Like, at the end of the day, as I elevated, these guys are still at the same place. They're still stuck in school. They're still working a dead-end job. They're still not happy, and they're still hating at the end of the day. I don't even realize. Sometimes I check my DMs looking for new leads that are trying to, you know, get their coaching business started, and I see, like, the guys from my college, like, hating on me. I didn't even realize. Like, imagine these guys are still hating on me without me even knowing, wasting their time. And that did push me to a certain point because I always remembered, I always kept things personal. Whenever I was really going all in, I put my back against the wall, and I understood that, like, I had to make it. You know what I mean? Like, I had to make it. And it's not even about proving these guys wrong. It's more like proving myself wrong, because I always had these high expectations for myself. Always had the thought, there's so much things in the world. Why can I not experience all of it? Why can I not have the world in my hands? Always had that thought. People used to say, be humble, bro. You can't think like that. You know, like, what is this guy talking about? You're crazy. Those are the same guys that are trying to keep me in this little box. And for the longest time, when I was stuck in college, when I was around these guys, when I was around, like, people that betrayed me, fake guys, they always wanted to keep me in this little box that I was like this TikTok kid that was broke, and then eventually I'll run out of the clout, and then I'd have to get a regular job like them. It's not gonna happen. Deep down, I always knew that's not gonna happen, and that's when I really started building towards that. I started building towards, how am I gonna monetize my brand in a way where it's actually gonna sustain me? You know what I mean? That's when I invested into Vince. That's when I realized I got into online coaching. And bro, even getting into, like, investing into him, I had no money at the time. Like, I was scared. But at the same time, I was like, I'm already poor right now. Worst case scenario, I'm just gonna stay poor. You know what I mean? Like, worst case scenario, if this fails for me, if I invest in a mentor and I don't make money, I'm just gonna stay where I'm at. So knowing that gave me the thought where it's like, I have nothing to lose. All I have is to gain. And that's what also allowed me to keep going further and further, because it's like, I was already at rock bottom. My bank account was already, like, negative. I was already failing school. So it's like, I could already go up, and I had no choice but to go up. Otherwise, I'm homeless, bro. like I'm homeless. So that's what allowed me to really like, shut out all the haters, because when I did go all in, all the noise was gone. Because I would, kind of like feed into the negativity, try to fight back, try to argue back, have these negative thoughts and let it get to me. But that was because I wasn't all in. That's because I was still 50-50. That's because I was still like, trying to do the social media business, but I was still, trying to party on the weekends. I was still like trying to chase girls. I was still like trying to impress these fake friends just for validation. But the moment I actually put my back against the wall, all that shit went away. All the old habits that, everyone has, it still lingers around them because they're not all in on something. But the moment you actually go all in something and you have no choice but to get the result. I had no choice but to get the result. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be in a very, very bad situation, which I was already in. But it just wouldn't look good because at the end of the day, I'm losing time. Once you go all in, everything doesn't matter. You realize everything doesn't matter. I always like to think about it right now. If someone were to grab you and shove you under the water to where you can't get out. You're trying to get out of the water. You can't breathe. You're drowning. What are you going to be thinking about in your mind? You're not going to be thinking about all those guys talking shit about you. You're not going to be thinking about your ex-girlfriend. You're not going to be thinking about all the bullshit that's going on in the world. You're just going to think about, I need to breathe. I need to get up and breathe. Like, I need to breathe. When you go all in on something, that's exactly your mindset. You need to breathe. You need to make money online. You need to get results. There's no, oh, this guy said I'm not going to make it. Oh, this guy is laughing at me. He's commenting under my post and he's saying like, stupid stuff. No, there's none of that. Like when you put yourself in a position to where you're underwater, you're drowning and you have to breathe, you need to swim yourself up to the top. And the only thing on your mind is getting that one breath of air, getting that first sale, reaching 10K a month, getting that result that you want. That's the only thing that's gonna be on your mind. So what was the mindset that you had, Andy, whenever you got into like investing with Vince and you actually got into online coaching? Like, were you scared, whenever you realized that like you got to make this big investment in yourself, but it might not work out? Like, what was your mindset that really just pushed you over the edge to like keep going?
Yeah, a lot of people, they fear failure. But when you understand, the biggest fear you should have is staying where you are right now, is staying stagnant at all levels, bro. Once you get to, 50K a month, understand if I stay at 50K a month for the next year, I'm depressed. I might hang myself. And that's extreme. But that's the mindset you got to have. If you're not progressing, what are you doing, right? People think, becoming successful, the main thing is like, oh, I want the Lambo, and then I want to move out here, and I want to move out. The thing is you want to keep elevating. Because even then, I was growing up, I was like, oh, I want the C8. I want the C8. Shit, that's my dream car in high school. I wanted a high rise. Now I have those things, like, cool, what's next? That's how life works. So, but even on a lower level, I understood that, what's the risk, bro? If it doesn't work out, I stay exactly where I'm at. I keep seeing my mom breaking her back just to provide for me. What does that do for me? Nothing. But whereas if I take action, put myself in a position to possibly win, it's not even, it's a mathematical game, right? If you stay exactly where you are, there's no chance you're gonna get, if you go to school, you go work a 9 to 5, there's no chance you're gonna retire your mom. That's a fact. Whereas if you make an investment in yourself, right? Now you're putting yourself in a position to possibly get out of that. You know what I mean? And another thing I wanted to say is to go back to the point of people doubting you and stuff like that. Just recently, bro, literally yesterday, I got a phone call with my cousin, like, oh, like these guys talking shit about you at a family gathering. What are you doing talking about Andy? What are you doing hanging out with Andy? Basically, because I don't go to family gatherings anymore. What you guys need to understand is that if you keep yourself in a environment with pessimistic people, negative people, you're going to be trapped and you're going to stay stuck there. You know what I mean? And I realize now, as I've climbed up, not on some egotistical shit, but on some real shit, as you climb up the ladder, it gets to a point where you don't even hear this thing. Like, you're going to realize that too. Like, you don't even hear people chirping and talking about you, what you got going on. Because at the end of the day, it's tunnel vision, bro. If you focus on yourself and only on yourself and on the other people whose lives you're going to impact when you become successful, then when you take action, it's not so scary, right? And one other thing I wanted to ask you, like, recently, have you had anyone, say anything about you or not? It's just been like, you've just been crushing it.
I've been crushing it, but I know people are always talking shit behind my back, but I don't pay attention to that because at the end of the day, like, I'm still always moving forward. People are going to talk regardless. Whenever I was a loser, I was jerking off every single day. I was playing video games. People talk shit about me. I always had the mindset that people are going to talk shit about me no matter what I did, so it doesn't matter. So a lot of guys also, like, they want to get into, like, online coaching, posting content. They're afraid of what people think. But if people are already going to judge you no matter what you do, you got to understand that, like, it doesn't matter. No matter what you do, people are going to talk shit. Why not just do what you want to do? Why not live for yourself? And for the longest time, that's always held me back. Because before I even got into content in the first place, you know, I was afraid about like, oh, what if these guys say this? What if these guys say that? I had to realize, first of all, I'm going to die. Second of all, these guys, they can talk. And they're already talking shit about me, regardless of me not even doing anything. I remember in high school, this guy said, birth name is Michael. You know what I mean? I go by Colt on social media, just random username, but my real name is Michael. He's like, Michael, why do you suck at everything? I'm like, bro, I'm just chilling. I'm like, he just said that because, you know, I used to be bad at sports, whatever. But at the end of the day, regardless of what I did, people would always talk shit. So the hate and the noise, it never really bothered me. Like, I always thought that was normal. I thought, you know, no matter what you do, people are going to hate on you. That's just part of the game. If people are not hating on you, that's a bad thing because it means you're invisible. So dealing with hate, I see it as something where I use it for fuel and energy. And I always understand guys that are hating, like, you know, they're just insecure. I feel bad. I pray for guys that are, you know, hating, watching guys win, watching me win every single day, elevating, saying, oh, bro, I get comments all the time. Oh, bro, like your car is a rental. I literally have my Instagram handle on my car. People will say anything. And at this point, I feel like they just choose not to believe it. You know what I mean? Like the proof is in the pudding. The proof is, you can see it in my eyes. I mean, I'm the man. But at the end of the day, people will just choose, because of their own insecurities, not to believe something. They don't want to see it's true because their mindset is so messed up. They have so much traumas. They don't believe in themselves to the point where it's like, they can't believe someone else can do it. They don't even want to see it. They don't even want to know it. You know what I mean? And at that point, I just feel bad for them. But I was that guy. You know what I mean? Before, I used to see guys, you know, young, 18 years old, crushing it, driving Lambos. I used to say, first thing in my mind, I used to think scammer. And the reason why I thought that, because I was stuck in college. I was around guys that, oh, the route is just go to college, get a degree, 9 to 5. This is how the path should be. If everyone has an extravagant lifestyle beforehand, they're a scammer, they're a liar, it's fake, it's all fake. That was my mindset, believe it or not. I was that guy, so I relate to them. And the reason why a lot of guys don't believe it, they hate, is because of them, their own insecurities, their own circumstances. And at that point, they just have to have that realization and self-develop to the point where it's like, they realize it is possible. That's my goal. My goal is to show everyone that it is possible. Because, bro, 0 months ago, 6 months ago, dead broke. You know what I mean? Like, to where I am right now, even you too, like 6 months ago, working at an airport to where we are both right now, like, it's possible, bro. So my end goal is to really just show everyone, you know, what you can achieve if you go all in, bro. So what would you say, like, your end goal, like, especially, like, posting content, helping people scale up? Like, what is your goal? Like, the main goal, you know, yeah, it's cool to help people make all this money, but, like, what's your goal with, like, helping these people, like, change their life?
Yeah, the main thing I say is a lot of people, especially when you start, it's easy to get money hungry. Like, oh, I want to get more money. Like, let's get this client. But what you realize is the main thing is how many lives you can impact along the way. Even then, like, my financial success, I don't even think about myself. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, how many lives can I impact? You know what I mean? The fact that, you know, this month, you know, my mom goes to the podcast. This month, you know, I'm going to give her a big chunk of money, right? That makes me happy. That makes me more fulfilled than anything else, right? So the money that's coming into me, I'm helping other people. I'm helping my mom out, helping my girlfriend out, right? All these cool things that I can bless other people with my hard work, right? And then as far as the clients go, that's the main thing, you know. People think that, like, a lot of guys are money hungry, but you need to understand, once you make anything more than 10K a month, it gets to the point where you're paying Monopoly. You're literally playing Monopoly. It feels like you have a glitch in the system. Money's just coming in. The money stops mattering. It doesn't matter anymore. It's how many lives can I impact. When I'm on the phone with a guy, I'm hoping he gets approved. I'm hoping, not because of the money, because now it's another life I can change. When a guy's on the phone with me and they're telling me, oh, I need to speak to someone, this and that, my main goal is to get them to realize, man, what are you talking about? I want to retire my mom. I want to be the man of the house. But then you're putting the responsibility on someone else. That's not a leader, bro. A leader doesn't ask someone else. Then you're not the leader, you know? You need to ask yourself, do I want to get rich? Yes. No. Does this make sense? Do it. A lot of guys put the responsibility and the burden on other people, much less a woman. Come on, bro. You can't be the man of the house asking your mom for advice. That's not going to retire your mom. My mom never understood what I did, the business model and everything like that. But now I'm in the process of retiring her. Do you think she gives a fuck? No, bro, because I actually took action. You guys need to understand, your mother's never going to understand what you're doing until you retire her, until you take action, right? She's never going to understand, man. It's all about what are you doing to make those goals happen, you know? But Colton, you know, I also want to speak on this point, how has it felt really, 50K a month now in just 6 months? How was that change for you, and how has it impacted other people in your life? Like, what did your mom say when you started, and how about now? Like, how has that mindset shift for your mom?
Yeah, bro. So when I started, I actually kept quiet. Like, I told my parents I was still going to school. I actually dropped out. So no one knew I dropped out. Not even my friends. Nobody knew I dropped out. And I was just locking in my business. I still lived in my college dorm. And I would stay in my room for all day. I wouldn't even leave my room, bro. Doing DMs for 16 hours every single day. Working on my coaching business, filming content, helping clients get results. And that's all I did. In 3 months down the line, when I was already at 10K a month, I told them, yeah, I'm not in school anymore. Because I don't want to keep like secrets, but like, I'm not at a point where it's like, I'm not in school anymore. They started going crazy, telling me, no, I got to register again. What are you doing? This is not sustainable. And at a certain point, like, we were always going back and forth with it, but they realized that this is not for me because I already had the results. You know what I mean? But it was a big fight. It was a big going on and on. And at the point where I was prepared, like, I was going to get kicked out of my house. I was still living with my parents at the time, but I was ready. If that were to come, I was financially capable to get my own place right then and there. Yeah. And going through that, I realized, because before I'd always tell my mom, I'm going to make all this money. I'm going to do this and this. I'm going to do drop shipping, all these things. I'm not going to work a 9 to 5. And she'd get mad because I would talk so much, but I had no results to show for it. She's seen me do many different business models, pressure washing, I had a social media agency that crashed and burned, all these things that I've gotten results, but I failed. But she was still happy that I was in college. But the moment that I actually cut out all like the safety nets, that's when it's like the real sign. She started being scared. She was always getting upset. But now, bro, I live on my own roof. The reason why that she was worried and she was upset and she didn't support what I did when I invested in a mentor. She's like, scammer, what are you doing? She's like saying, are you stupid? All that stuff. But the reason why she was saying that was because, first of all, I was still living with my parents. So if you still live with your parents, I realize no matter how much money you make, if you still live with your parents, they still have a say over you. If your parents are still paying bills for you, if they're still covering your bills, they can tell you whatever they want. You know what I mean? And their word matters because at the end of the day, you're still living under the roof. So the moment I, left Houston, moved all the way to Miami on my own, that's when, there's nothing that they can say. They started believing in me more because now it's like money on a screen is nice, but when you're actually moving, you're actually like building shit in real life, that's when they see, okay, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. I actually believe in him, and I wish for his success. I wish for his success. So a lot of people think their moms and their parents in general are against them. They just want what's best for you. But if you have no results to show for it, you got to understand in the beginning of the game, they're obviously not going to support you. They're obviously not going to be a fan of you trying to, invest in making money online because obviously they don't even know. That's not even in their generation. That's not even in their timeline. So they don't even know what it's about, and you haven't even gotten results from it. So that's why they want to keep pushing. They wanted to push me. A lot of guys, their parents want them to push them to go to college, get a job because that's what they knew. Especially like having immigrant parents, that was the best case scenario. Coming here to America and then going to school, getting a job, that's success. And it was success at the time. But when you're like a first generation person and you're born here, you're born in America, there's different levels. Especially when you have social media, you're seeing all these guys, 18 years old, ripping Lambos, McLarens. Bro, there's new levels, bro. Now it's like you don't have to go to college and get a degree and get a 9 to 5. Like that's like not success. That's just that's average. You know what I mean? I always saw that as average. That's actually something where I don't see myself doing. I wouldn't be alive. I wouldn't be alive if I had to live like that. You know what I mean? I've been in the job system. Don't like it. I don't work well with a boss because I don't like another man telling me what to do, telling me you can eat lunch, telling me you got to mop the floor, telling me you got to do all these dishes. I was never a fan of that. I always knew I'm not going to do that, especially when I'm older and I have kids. I'm not going to feel like the man. You know what I mean? I always knew I had to be the boss. I always knew I had to have something going for myself, and that's what I really worked towards. I mean, so Andy, at what point did you realize, like, why are you not working a job right now? Like, why are you not okay with working a job? Like, why do you have to be the boss? Like, when did you realize that's like, I got to be the man. I got to be in control of my own destiny.
Yeah, I mean, I realized that like this, man. I feel like a lot of people, they don't appreciate their mom enough, bro. The reason why your mom's saying all these things, like you said earlier, is because, bro, she's paying everything in the house. The light bill, the water, she's paying everything, bro. And I realized in that moment, I'm seeing my mom working hourly at a job. Where, God forbid, she's replaceable like this. Easy replacement. You understand that you're in a job right now, it's easy replacement. It's only a matter of time. You're 3 or 4 fuck-ups away from getting fired. It's that simple. So what I realized is, as a man, you're never in control. As a man working a job, you're never in control. At any moment, snap of a finger, you're fired, someone else coming. Even in a college job, why do you think everyone would make no more than $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year? Why? Because easy replacement. Unless you got a fucking master's degree, like even then, bro, you're easy replacement, right? Whereas if you start your own business, you do whatever you want, whenever you want. And I realized, man, the way to get rich is not saving your way rich. Think about it like this, man. If you just say you make $100,000 a year, you save every penny, bro. How are you gonna buy it? Think about it. There's guys here in Miami who are like in their 20s with $20 million houses, right? It's gonna take you how many years, bro? Like it's gonna take you like your whole life, and you're still not gonna be able to pay for it. You know what I mean? So a lot of guys say, "Oh, but I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna do." But I was in the same mindset. Understand? I was gonna go to school. I actually applied for a technical college here in Miami, like an airplane mechanic school. That was my plan because I can do overtime and I can make $10K a month, bro. My first, it wasn't even $10K. It was $12K a month, bro. It was just 6 people, $2K. That's it. And I could do whatever I want, whenever I want. I was making money from not even my laptop, my phone, bro. I was using my phone. My laptop was broken at the time. I was using my phone, get on calls with guys, change their lives. So that's when I realized that working a job just wasn't the way to get rich. And I read it in Think Grow Rich and so many books. It's all over the Bible too. Your level of service is what's going to get you rich. You have a high value level of service. You're always impacting lives. You're going to get rich. It's only a matter of time. But what service do you provide for the world? Working for another man, working for another woman. You know what I mean? You're just working there, just going through the motions. Whereas if you can help people, like even as a fitness coach, you are changing lives. And I say, and people say I'm a dick. If online fitness coaching changed just as many lives as a doctor and saved lives. You know, I've had dozens of people when I was a fitness coach tell me, "Yo, bro, you changed my life." I was thinking, I had a close friend of mine, bro. He was 230 pounds. I changed his life. 160 now. He actually works with me now. Man, not only did I change this guy's life with self-love, he was thinking of committing suicide. I'm not going to drop names. Thinking of committing suicide, all that shit. I broke him out of that, got him in his dream physique, and now he's working with me, right? And I changed his life from A to Z. That's what fulfills me, bro. And people are going to say, "Oh, these course sellers, these people are scammers and this and that," but they don't know the true story, right? It's like a business. You can have one bad review. That's not gonna overcome the 99, the hundreds, the thousands of good reviews. So at the end of the day, people are always gonna think certain things about these course sellers, right? But we're blueprint leaders. We tell guys, this is what you got to do. From A to Z is how I got rich in 6 months. You could do the same. If you don't want it, next lead, next person I can help, next person whose life I can change. Now, when I want to ask you, what has been the most impactful story of any of your clients, whether it's fitness, online coaching, what would you say is the most impactful, right? Like how do you feel? Because I feel like a lot of people think, like I said, people think we're money hungry. How did it feel for you when you had your client, your first client get his first close, or your first client quit his job? Like, how did that feel?
So, like seeing that, and this was like not even like a crazy big win. So there's some guys in the community, and this specific guy, I really helped him out. Like, Adrian, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just gave him a little bit of sauce because I really I fuck with that guy a lot. And bro, just giving him the mindset sauce and really showing him A to Z, this is what you gotta do content wise, bro. You have a crazy transformation. Bro, he got like a $500 close in 45 minutes. Like it wasn't like one of those big 2Ks, but just seeing that shows it's like, bro, like these guys could literally apply what we say and they can make money like this. Like that can change their life. And just seeing that every single day, people post wins every single day, bro. Seeing the lives change, seeing guys quitting their job. Whenever I quit my job before I even went all in, but seeing guys, some guys get started while they're working 9 to 5, which is good. When they get that first 2K, seeing them quit their job, bro, that's one of the best feelings in the world, because when I see like as a job, and I'll tie this into my journey from going from like job to high ticket. You know what I mean? I always like to explain like, high ticket coaching, bro, to make 10K a month, all you need is 5 people at 2K, right? These guys get their first 2K client and they quit their job right away. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, they're making 2K a month from their job. I was making 2K a month from my job max. You know what I mean? I was making $9 an hour. If I got one client, I'd quit 2. You know what I mean? I quit before, but like one client, I'd make the same amount as a month at my job. One client, it only takes me 1 hour, a 1 hour phone call. What's your pain point? Oh, I'm trying to lose fat. Why can't you lose fat and do it on your own? Well, I have no accountability. Boom, problem right there. All right, so I'm going to show them the pitch deck. Okay, so I'm going to make you meal plans every single week. I'm gonna get you on my coaching app, and I'm gonna be keeping you accountable every single week. Okay, boom, 2K right there. 1 hour of that is equivalent to 1 month at my job. Like, come on. The journey from me going to job, low ticket, to high ticket, that's how I live a high ticket life right now. And that's how everyone that's crushing it, all the students we have, are getting to high ticket lives because they realize the value that they provide, the value that they're in shape. There's guys that are jacked as fuck. And there's guys that just have a passion for working out. They're not even in crazy shape, but they're still getting results too because they just have a passion for getting people to be healthy. But another thing is, bro, there's also a lot of guys, and one of the most painful things that I see is guys that are in crazy shape, but they just don't maximize their potential. Kind of how I was, before. There's guys, we talk to on the phone sometimes, like, juice to the gills. Like, they look insane, bro. They can make $20K, $30K a month as a fitness coach, but their mindset's not there, that they're stuck working a job that they don't like. And the worst thing is seeing wasted potential. I mean, how do you feel whenever you see guys that are in crazy shape can change millions of lives, but they just don't go all in?
Yeah, it's mindset, bro. At the end of the day, mindset is key. People ignore that. Understand, let's say right now, bro, you're fucking triathlete, bro. You're in the best. You have veins on your abs, best shape possible. If I put the mentality and the mindset of a fat person into you, you become a fat fuck, right? If you get the fat person, put the triathlon, boom, you put the fit guy's brain and mindset into the fat guy, he's gonna get ripped, and then vice versa. That's just how it works. Same thing with business, bro. A lot of these guys, and I say it publicly, I don't give a shit. A lot of these jacked guys are so jacked. You bench 315, you put up all these numbers in the gym, all these numbers, and then you're soft. You can look like the hardest motherfucker, but you're soft inside, right? You have all this discipline in the gym, but you can't apply it to business, and that just blows my mind. Nothing hurts me more as a mentor, than seeing ways to potential. Because what makes me happy is motivating others, bro. You have to understand, as you make money, as you climb up, it simply doesn't matter. And I'll say it again and again. Like for me, bro, the most impactful story was, Juna. We just flew out here, bro. We just flew our client, Juna. Understand, he hasn't even gotten a closure. He literally just started with us. It hasn't even been a week. But when he flew out here, and I saw how happy he was, this guy left crying. Because of the whole experience, bro. Once you get out to Miami, you've seen too much. Once you hang out with, again, people like these jack guys, they see 10K a month is so far-fetched. Bro, but then you hang out with me and Colton, 10K days. You hang out with Vince, 6-figure days. Now it's like, oh shit, this is possible. And once you see that, bro, and you open just the possibility of it even happening in the first place, it's just a matter of time. But it all stops with plan A. It all starts with you taking that first step, that first leap of faith and taking action. Once you take action, it's a matter of time. There is that lag of not everyone to be rich, everyone will be successful. My favorite book, Power Awareness, says you need to be I am. You need to be I am already the person that's making 10K a month, and then you will become successful, right? But even me, I remember this. I'd be riding the bus, at the airport, because I quit Taco Bell. I'm in the airport now, right? I'm riding the bus. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and every day, bro, I listen to motivational audios, crying, man, like oh shit, like literally crying every single morning. It's the same cycle on repeat. But I wasn't sad. I wasn't depressed. I was crying more because I felt the potential. I felt like, man, I'm out of place right here. I would cry sitting so out of place. Imagine, I had the nice car before I was rich, but I was going to the airport parking lot, seeing all these Toyotas, all that shit, and I have a C8. Nicest car in the parking lot. Because I already treated myself as that person. What did I do about the car? Most people say that's stupid. I always say, as your level of income comes up, raise your fucking lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Buy the cool car. Buy the fucking penthouse. Buy this shit. Because you have to understand, you're never going to be young driving a nice car again, right? Maybe in 10 years, bro, I'll have a fucking Bugatti. Maybe 5 years, I'll have a Bugatti. But still, I'm still young, right? A lot of people say, oh, I can put money into the 401k. Bro, it doesn't matter. I don't want to be 65 years old in a fucking Lambo getting out my knees hurt. No, bro. I want to be the young guy in the Lamborghini. That's the biggest flex. So a lot of people, they let their doubts and fears hold them back. But understand, these people you're seeing around you at work that hate their lives, that's you in 20, 30 years if you don't take action, bro. How was it for you seeing all these older people working with you? For me, it pissed me off, but in a good way. I felt bad for these people, but I knew that couldn't be me. Like for you, when you were working, did you ever feel like out of place? I feel like, what they say, like Alex Ramosi, he says that one of the biggest traits that all successful people, uber successful, have in common is simply that they feel out of place. They have this superiority complex. They're better than everybody else, but in a good way, right? Have you ever felt that? Like, I know I did. Have you ever felt that?
Bro, whenever I was working at this place called Clean Juice, I was working as a smoothie barista, and bro, I'm like cleaning dishes. There was like this task sheet, and I had a manager, bro. This guy, like, he thought he was better than me. He was like 5 years older than me. He was like 24 at the time. I was like 19. This guy would make me do everything. He would like try to give me lessons and mentor me. I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to be like you, bro. Shut the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? And he would make me like do all these tasks, and he'd tell me and my friends. And by the way, my friends right now that he would talk shit about, they're making way more money than him. You know what I mean? So it's like, this guy would be like, yeah, I'm in engineering school. I'm getting my master's, and, you know, I'm in the manager of this job. This guy had his girlfriend as an employee at this place. What? Like, what is the situation I was in? And I realized if I don't lock in on this online business shit, I'm going to be like these guys. I'm going to be a manager at a smoothie bar, Smoothie King, you know, running the house, feeling like the man, even though I'm making, you know, 15 an hour, and then just be having high school kids, you know, working under me and making them clean dishes. I didn't want to be like that. You know what I mean? So I always understood, like, there's only two ways this can go. It's either I make this work out, I figure out my own shit, I do everything I can in my power to make this work, I go all in, I sacrifice the fun and the pleasures of being young, and I reap the rewards in my 20s, which I am right now, or I can just keep doing what I'm doing, have fun, keep this job, and when it comes time to be in my 20s, now I'm going to be a manager and I'm working a job that I hate, and then I'm going to wonder, oh, where did it all go wrong? I'm going to be like these guys. At the end of the day, I had two choices. Everyone always has two choices, and I made the right choice. I realized I'm not going to be working this way. I'm going to quit this job. I'm not worth $9 an hour. I told myself right then and there, I am not worth $9 an hour. And, bro, I'd be cleaning dishes for hours. There'd be so many dishes, bro, and I'd be doing that shit. And I remember one time I was at work as well. I got in an argument with this coworker. This coworker was a girl, and she was making me cut fruit. I told her I'm not going to cut fruit. That's what a girl does. I'm not going to cut fruit. And you can say that's misogynistic or whatever like that. And that's when I got my first warning from my manager. And that's when I realized when you work a job, you get to do stuff that demasculates you. You get to do stuff that is not in your own willpower, and you have to do it. And you're slaving your own dignity for $1. Think about it. You are slaving your dignity. You're cutting fruit. You're doing all these things that you don't want to do for $1. And at that point, I'd rather have gone all in on a business, made no money, and failed, but at least I have my dignity. At least I'm doing what I want to do. But so many guys, just for $20 an hour, $15 an hour, they do stupid shit. You know, you're wearing a shirt, you have your name tag on your name. Hi, my name is Michael. And then you're taking out trash, and you're doing stupid shit. Like, come on, bro. You got to realize, you got to look in the mirror. You are worth more. I always saw myself as the man. You know what I mean? Most guys don't see themselves as the man. Most guys, they feel like seeing themselves as the man is a bad thing. No, bro, be humble. Guys would always tell me, be humble. I'm like, fuck off. I'm not going to be humble. This is who I am. You know what I mean? My manager would always tell me, be humble. Bro, like, it's just a mindset. If you know that you are meant for more, don't be humble. Just go after what you want. That is the biggest lie that the media tells you. The biggest lie that maybe your parents or school would teach you is to be humble. Because humble people, nice guys, they don't win. And growing up, I was humble as shit. I was a nice-ass guy, and I always lost. I always get bullied, always got the short end of the stick no matter what. Even when I was working a job, I'd always get the short end of the stick. I'd always have to do overtime. I'd always have to close and then open the next morning. I'd always have to do all this shit that my coworkers didn't have to do. So I had to realize, if I don't control my own destiny, I'm fucked. Like, if I don't control my own destiny, if I don't take control right now, my life is not going to be good. Because some guys, might have a better life than me, you know, having some other guy control their destiny. That's fine. But I'm not a likable guy. I'm going to be real. Most guys don't like me. And that's when I had to realize as well. You know, my manager didn't like me. Coworkers didn't like me. I don't know why. Maybe I'm not a likable guy. That means I have to control my own shit. Because if I'm not a likable guy and I'm not controlling my destiny, I'm fucked, man.
Yeah, like, and that's true, but and I want to jump in that point because we're about to wrap up. If you're watching this right now and you feel like you're meant for more, right? You know the average route isn't for you. You're jacked, you're in shape. 9 to 5 isn't the way you want to go. Understand that, like Colton said, you are in control of your destiny, bro. It is up to you to take action, bro. Don't be scared to reach out. Don't be scared to reach out for help. Understand that, you know, I always knew this growing up. You can't fucking be in a Rolls Royce, a CA, you know, whatever your goals are, listening to Honda drivers, bro. Your teacher, right? Your professor, business professor, is not driving the cars you want. He's not living the life you want. So it's up to you to take action and take it upon yourself to make it happen for yourself and the people around you. So if you're listening to this now, you see yourself as more, you need to believe in yourself, take action. Understand God is putting that in your mind for a reason. The universe is telling you you're meant for more because you are. The only thing that's left is for you to take action, put your back against the wall, go all in, and you can and will change your life. If me at 19 years old making $50,000 a month inspires you, Colton doing that at 21 as well, if that inspires you, don't be scared to take action, because the only thing you should fear is staying exactly where you are right now, and you can do it as well.